He's right in the weeds there. Oh, it's a little one. It's a spike. At least we got someone's attention.
Montana is any deer hunter's dream. The deer are in an abundant supply here. The first time I came to Montana, I could hardly believe it. And that was 3 years ago, and I'm not sure you could get me to ever skip this trip again.
Minnesota native Melissa Bachman heads west to Montana for this whitetail revolution hunt. The rolling hills and bottomlands of the beautiful Powder River Valley are the backdrop for this prime time November trip. Snow and cold are in the forecast, but Melissa knows this area well. And with the weather turning nasty, she's excited the rut will be kicking into high gear.
And when you're looking for a hunt for mature whitetails, you're looking for a state that has an overabundance of mature deer. No doubt, Montana is a great choice for that.
Pretty dang
Look
good.
real good. Real good.
I've taken more bucks with a shotgun than a rifle. As a kid, I grew up hunting with a shotgun. We used slugs in central Minnesota to take all our deer. So it's something that I'm super comfortable with and super confident with.
Well, this week, Melissa told me that she's going to be hunting with a 12-gauge shotgun. This is actually the first time I've ever seen anyone out here use a shotgun. So that changes the game up a lot. You know, we're going to have to get these deer in nice and close.
But maybe not that close. Winchester's patented XP3 high-velocity polymer-tipped shotgun slug has proven to be very accurate, out to 100 yards and beyond when fired through a rifle barrel.
Are you ready for some slugging?
I'm ready.
Now I've come at the perfect time. It's about a week before Thanksgiving and these bucks are rutting hard. Now with that in mind, I'm going to use that to my advantage and try rattling these big bucks in. Now they should be in the ultimate fighting mode. This is the time when rattling works the best. So I'm looking forward to our very first morning out and trying to put those antlers together and see what we can bring in.
Little spike. 4 o'clock. I like it. If he runs off, I'm gonna rattle the guy. I think he got us. He got our win.
This wasn't the big buck I was looking for, but it didn't matter. It was sort of a sense of calm that came over me that, yes, this will work and you haven't lost your mind thinking you can rattle in whitetails.
Don't forget to bring your rattling antlers and grunt call during the peak. Why? Because if a big buck hears a fight, he's going to think that there are 2 bucks fighting over an available doe. He's going to try and sneak in.
There he comes. He's coming up right through there. He's got nice tall tines. He ain't a bad buck. He's just not that big. He's not that old. He's nowhere near 150.
And yet another buck comes rolling in. Again, not quite what we're looking for, but these bucks have potential and they're definitely hunting for fights and hunting for girls.
After rattling a couple of bucks in, my confidence was high. I knew this was going to work, but the hard part is when you rattle and you get a buck in, to try to control your excitement and make a good decision. Now, is this a mature buck that I want? Because I was really looking for something nice. I've shot a 150-inch whitetail here, so I was really hoping to get a nice mature buck in that neighborhood.
Nice one. Nice one.
There he is.
Yes.
Yeah, you can only see his rack. There's a doe's ears.
Let's just see if we can grunt him over here.
When you rattle, you want to make it seem like a real-life situation. Now, the last time I saw a buck fight, they don't just sit there and hit horns and not move. It's usually an all-out brawl, knocking trees over, kicking up dirt, scratching around. So make your rattling sequence the same way. Get after it. Be very aggressive.
Right to us. Okay. He's got splits. He's pretty cool.
Doesn't look like he has that tall time.
He don't have tall time.
He's a cool buck for sure. I'm gonna let this one walk. There's too many good bucks.
After rattling somewhere between 7 and 10 bucks in the very first day, I was blown away. This was ultimately the best whitetail hunt I had ever had, and I hadn't even come close to shooting a shooter yet. It didn't matter though, because we were out there on the ground and bringing these bucks to us.
I don't know, maybe I'm losing my mind with seeing all these bucks rattling in them in, but I just didn't have the heart to squeeze the trigger and end my hunt on day 1 when we've got all these bucks running around. But he is really nice, and next year he's
gonna be even better. But there was one thing that was gonna be changing. After a great day of rattling, well, there was a snowstorm on the way, and I wasn't sure what that would do to the whitetails. Sometimes it can kick that rut into high gear. Sometimes it can shut them down.
There comes a buck right here.
It takes a pretty hardcore hunter to sit out for hours in a driving snowstorm, but that's exactly what we did.
I think you can shoot him. There's your shot if you want it, right there. If you want him, take him. Yes.
Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, and by Redfield, the soul of the American hunter.
Well, for once in the world, the weatherman was right. It is snowing out. We've got probably 2 to 3 inches already, and by the looks of it, it's gonna keep coming down. This should make the hunting really good today. I'm thinking this is gonna turn the whitetails on. They're rutting hard already. Add this extra snow, now we're gonna be able to see them well. Might be a little chilly, but I think it's gonna make for some great spot and stalking.
As Melissa and her camera crew load up for their short hop out to the woods, the excitement is building. With the first snow of the season and falling temperatures, coupled with increasing rutting activity, things are definitely looking up.
I love hunting in the snow. To me, it's one of the best times to hunt. There's a lot of added advantages. It makes the woods super quiet on that first day when it's snowing. Secondly, it makes it very limited visibility for you, but for the bucks as well. So rattling could be a perfect setup. That way, the bucks wouldn't know what's going on and they're gonna have to come in close.
During the rut, any time is a good time to be hunting. But anytime you get some sort of temperature change, especially when it's getting colder, those bucks are gonna get on their feet. They're gonna be moving all day long. You know, I welcome a change like that when I'm hunting.
You can shut the deer down for a day or two, but in this particular case, it's right during the rut. I mean, it's just like you called up your lady, she said, tonight's tonight, you know, we're going dancing, we're going out to supper. I mean, you ain't gonna shut Mother Nature down, and no matter whether it snowed, all it's gonna do is pick it up.
Hey, here, there comes a buck right here. There he comes right down here.
Well, if there was any question whether this snow was gonna help or hurt me, well, it was answered after the very first rattling sequence.
He might be a shooter. I don't know.
I really don't think he's that big.
I think he's pretty nice. Where's your rattling horn?
I think rattling's gonna be too close right now.
That buck just ran up. He's gone.
We just had a beautiful buck coming in the snow. Still have time left, and today is the perfect day for hunting. We've got just steady snow. It's silent in here, and I think these bucks are just gonna keep coming out. It takes a pretty hardcore hunter to sit out for hours in a driving snowstorm, but that's exactly what we did, and it really paid off.
Well, here's a lady that's going to set the example for a lot of you men back in there watching the guiding light, thinking the wind's blowing too hard or it's snowing too hard or the conditions. Here's a lady that got out there knowing that she can't shoot them setting in camp, so she got back out there.
When that weather gets bad, you got to stick with it. You've got to have the right clothing, you got to be able to bear the elements, and you got to hang tough, because big whitetails are out there 365 days a year, and you got to be too.
Oh, there's another one coming. Another one coming. I see him. He's walking sideways right there. Do you see him, Melissa?
We had been standing in that snow for quite a while and looked like we had the perfect camo. You don't get 2 inches of snow layered up on you because you just got out in the woods.
He might be a shooter, Melissa. Get ready. I can't tell yet. I think he's a shooter, but he's a big 9-pointer. He's coming. He's still coming. He's pretty damn close.
What do you think?
I think you should shoot him. Huh? I think you should shoot him. There's your shot if you want it, right there. If you want him, take him.
This buck came all the way into probably 15, 20 yards and just stood there, giving me all the time in the world.
Yes. Damn it.
So I made the tough decision, didn't squeeze the trigger, and that buck spun around and left.
There he goes. There he goes.
He was pretty. He was a beautiful buck, but he was kind of thin, and I don't think I really wanted my hunt to be over yet. I was having too much fun. And I knew that as it snowed and as the temps dropped, the hunting was probably gonna just keep getting better.
I think he was a shooter for sure. I mean, it was perfect 30, 40-yard shot. That wasn't a huge one, but I think he was sure damn nice. He would have been big enough, I guarantee it. It would have been perfect. He looked big to me.
We've seen a lot of good deer, and she was very patient, but I wanted to pull the trigger a couple times on some real nice bucks.
No, he was a good one, but we got plenty of time. There's a lot of them in here.
Are you chilly?
Getting there. Are you?
Mm-mm.
I'm not cold then either. I'm not cold either then. Actually, I'm kind of hot. Here comes some deer, Melissa, right here.
Look at them all. That's cool.
We landed right in the middle of this rutting activity.
There's another one coming. He's got a huge body.
Hey, he looks pretty good.
He's definitely the king of these guys around here. Looks like a nice buck there. He's not quite big enough. There might be something bigger behind him. There's another little buck coming behind him.
The snow has finally eased up and the rutting activity is nearing its peak. The big bucks are on the move, and Melissa and her guide are using the quiet of the snow to get in close.
This is one heck of a rut. Well, we're definitely going into the right area.
Yeah, it takes a big buck to get his horns around that.
Once the snow stopped, we knew this was the perfect time to use this quiet, fresh snow to sneak through the woods and try to get up on some really nice bucks.
This should be a good setup.
Yeah.
All this cattails and stuff super thick. They're coming out of that thick stuff. With that river funneling them in, this is the perfect pin spot right here. The other thing is if they're rutting, this is a perfect area for those bucks to push those does around. Little meadow for them.
Yep.
They'll never see us here.
Nope.
Well, this was a perfect setup. We got there, got next to a big bush, and within 10-15 minutes, the rutting began.
Here comes some deer, Melissa, right here. Here they come.
Look at them all. That's cool.
Get ready, there might be a bigger one behind them.
There's another one coming right there. They're all kind of just filtering down to the same area.
It's gonna work. You're gonna get a shot if he comes in here.
We landed right in the middle of this rutting activity. The bucks were pushing, does were running. The bucks couldn't even keep up with these does, and they didn't know who to push away and who to chase.
If you've got does and it's getting toward the rut or in the rut, there's probably going to be a buck sniffing around, so you pay attention.
And it's that magic time of year, and all of a sudden there goes a doe running down through the woods, you know? And I go, duh, this could be a good time to get your weapon in your hand.
I like it too because it's 150 yards in hand. Everything's doable right in here.
Yep.
There's another one coming. He's got a huge body.
Oh yeah. Hey, he looks pretty good.
This rack's not too.
No.
Oh, he is all rutted up. He's grunting.
Look at him. Man, he's sure got a big body.
He's definitely the king of these guys around here.
Well, he's really dogging that dog. What do you think? I think he's too small. What do you think?
No, he's not big enough
No.
yet.
It turned out to be quite a show, but unfortunately, the biggest buck just wasn't quite what I was looking for. He had a big old blocky body and was chasing a doe round and round. It probably would have been tough to even get a shot on him because he wasn't stopping. He was on her tail, and that's all he had on his mind.
That buck, if we only had a rack to match the size of that body, I think that's the biggest rutted up body we've seen.
Yeah, he sure had a big body, that's for sure. He was,
We spotted a really nice buck, just got a quick glimpse of him going into the brush chasing the doe, and I decided this is a buck I'd like to go after.
There's the buck right there.
stand up, he's looking the other way. Take him.
Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, and by Redfield, the soul of the American hunter.
Right now, I think they're coming on this edge. It's gonna be my guess. Oh, here they come. There's a buck. I think he's pretty good. What do you think, Shane?
After several days of some really hard hunting, the temperatures had finally started warming back up, the snow started melting, and the bucks were still on the move.
I got him if I want him, but no, he's too little. High tines, but he's really thin. Really thin.
Again, not quite a shooter, walks right to us. To have this many cool 125, 130 inch bucks walk right to you and stand 15 yards broadside, well, that'll get any whitetail hunter going, and it was cool.
Melissa's hunting where she's hunted before, and that's a huge advantage. She knows the area. She's got essentially her own guide. She knows where the deer have been in the past. She's got a good idea where they're going to be in the future, and that gives you an incredible confidence.
She comes into a camp that she's been there before, she's relaxed, she knows the area, she knows if she sits there and does her homework and stays out there, that it's probably going to happen. No wonder the lady's smiling all the time.
There's a buck right there, right there.
We spotted a really nice buck, just got a quick glimpse of him going into the brush chasing the doe, and I decided this is a buck I'd like to go after.
Do you think that buck is bedded just right up this way?
Yeah, down this river ways. We'll use this river bank. The wind's coming out of this way. So we'll use this bank, we'll get closer to him, and then we'll sneak into the trees and see if we can spot him.
Adam and I decided to use this nice steep edge on the riverbank to try to get in close to this buck. Now the whole area was covered in bedding area. There would be deer everywhere. So we wanted to hug that edge as tight as possible to try to not kick up deer as we went, maybe spooking them off.
Still haven't seen him there yet. This grass is super high. I honestly don't think we're gonna see him until we get almost on top.
It's gonna be really tough.
So as we crept along, we finally got in close to about where we thought we saw the buck and the does the last time.
I don't see him in here, but boy, check out how high this is. If he's bedded in a little divot, we'll never see him. We'll never see him.
There's no right there. Right there.
Once we got there, we cut in through the brush, and as we were looking and just slowly creeping along, boom, there were does right on us.
There's the buck right there.
Stand up, you're looking at the whitetail. Nice shot.
Nothing like having a buck get up super close to you.
30 yards, I bet.
Well, guess what? 30 yards with a slug gun in his tracks. What an awesome deal.
As I slowly squeezed that trigger, the buck dropped right in his tracks. And right there, that is why I wanted a slug gun in Montana.
Look at this buck.
A nice one, Melissa.
Wow.
Real nice whitetail.
Check out the mass on this guy. Just great mass, really nice brows. Just an overall nice mature buck.
Walking up to this buck, I couldn't have been happier. The entire hunt, the entire trip was really one of the best whitetail hunts I've ever been on.
Melissa is a real hunter. That gal knows how to hunt.
This buck was in high brush. You could barely even see his vitals, but with a slug gun, you drop it right where you need, and this will bust through any brush.
Adam and I put in some really, really long hours, stuck with it, and we got to see a beautiful buck go down within 30 yards with a slug gun. That's what hunting in the Powder River should ultimately be like.
This is one beautiful whitetail.